Our hearts beat to the same.
Oh, look, Charlotte's got her green grilled cheese sandwich. We just dyed some mozzarella cheese, and that is stringy. How's it taste? So over here we are doing the, oh, let me show you. We are doing the potato and leek soup. This is what it's supposed to look like. I've always got a glare. I will link this in the description box down below. You're gonna need the chicken broth. You're gonna need some bacon. We got some potatoes that I'm gonna use my vegetable chopper to chop up. You're gonna need some carrots, the leek, the cabbage, onion. Oh, I need to get an onion out. My carrots, salt, the caraway seeds, some black pepper, a bay leaf, sour cream, bacon, and parsley. And this is all going to be done in the slow cooker. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already got the potatoes peeled, and I'm going to use my vegetable chopper to chop it up into smaller pieces. So the recipe calls for 3 peeled and diced potatoes, and as you can already tell that I've already peeled my potatoes before I even started this video. So we're just going straight into getting them diced up, and what better way to use my vegetable chopper. Y'all, I'm telling you, if you haven't gotten one of these, I highly recommend getting one. I will leave the one that I got linked down in the description box below. They're super cheap, and it makes life just so much easier. But you can see that I'm just putting the potatoes in there, and I shake it down because it builds up pretty quickly. But anyway, I definitely love this thing. I can't recommend it enough. Did I already say that? I think I said that already. All right, so once I get all my potatoes already done, I'm just going to go ahead and dump it into the crock pot, and then 1 full carton of chicken broth, and you're about to get spun around really quickly. Woohoo! Hope you didn't get dizzy. All right, so the next thing we are moving on to is the carrots. And again, with the vegetable chopper, I pretty much use this for this entire meal. I just chop it up into just smaller pieces just so I can get it into the chopper, because you don't want big hunks in there. And then I want all the vegetables to be like uniform, just because, you know, it looks nicer. Do you need it? No. It just looks nicer. That's all. So I just kind of cut them in half and then lay them side by side and then press it down. Super easy. I should also mention that while I was chopping up the vegetables, what I didn't show was that I was cooking the bacon in the air fryer, because it says that you need 1 pound of bacon, crisp, cooked, and crumbled. So I figured this would probably be a good time to get it into the air fryer. Yeah, I can only fit like 5 or 6 pieces into the air fryer at one time. You could just stick it in the oven and cook it that way, and that is perfectly fine. I just like using my air fryer. I don't know, I just like using it for everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to chopping up the onions, and then we'll do up the leek and the cabbage. And yes, even with the cabbage, I just use my vegetable chopper, and I just keep spinning you all around. So I did wash that cabbage before I started cutting it up, and I discarded that outer leaf. I don't know, is anybody else like that, where like if you have like lettuce or something, that first leaf on the outside, or just like toss that out, because it's like the one leaf that's going to get like the most damaged, or you know, it turns. I don't know, I always toss out that first leaf. So I usually just give it to the pigs and chickens. But honestly, so I've never actually cut up a cabbage before. If I ever use like a coleslaw mix, I usually just get it in a bag. So for some reason, I was expecting the cabbage to cut more similar to like lettuce, but it's actually a little bit harder to cut. And so yeah, that was just kind of surprising to me. And just breaking up all the leaves and using my vegetable chopper for that. And that's all right, because it ended up turning out all uniform and looking really nice. So you'll see here in just a second. And I wasn't really sure how much of the cabbage to use. I just used all like the greener leaves is what I did. It didn't say, it just says 1.5 cups of chopped cabbage. And I clearly, I think I had like 2 cups there, which totally. And now for the leek. I honestly had no idea how to cut a leek. So yes, I had to look up a YouTube video on how to cut it. And it was actually very simple. You just cut off that top really green part that kind of looks like a palm frond or something. That's at least what I thought it was. And cut off the roots, and then it's just the middle part that you use. I mean, it is super easy. And I just, again, threw everything into the crock pot. super simple. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add in a teaspoon of salt. And yes, my salt is in a mason jar. And the reason why it's in a mason jar, not because I'm like, oh, look at me, I put things in mason jars. It's because Megan and Charlotte were trying to make homemade raviolis, and they were following a recipe, and Charlotte went to add in the salt, but she saw the salt and the other ingredient, I think it was the flour, and it was supposed to be a cup. Well, she accidentally put in a cup of salt in the flour, and then they immediately realized that they had screwed up. So then Megan was trying to get all the salt out of the flour that wasn't mixed in, and so they put it in a mason jar instead of putting it back into the salt container. And so there's just like a little bit of flour in with the salt, but it's so fine. It's fine. It's okay. I'll also add in a half a teaspoon of the caraway seeds and a half a teaspoon of the black pepper. And so what I was doing here was I was taking some of the liquid out of there, and you want to just kind of separate about a half a cup of liquid and mix in a half a cup of the sour cream, and which was perfect because it is exactly what I had left in that container. And then you just want to mix it up, and then you're going to add it back into your crock pot to make it all nice and creamy and delicious. And I use a rubber spatula, just like those little mini rubber spatulas, to get all the goodness out of that bowl. And I do add in, I would guess, probably about a half a cup of heavy cream because I wanted it a little creamier, like a chowder. And y'all, it was just so good. This is definitely going to be on repeat for a very long time. This was so delicious. TJ and I really liked it. So now I'm just adding in the bacon. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to use the scissors to cut it or just use my hands, and I just decided to go with my hands because it was a lot easier. So just add in the bacon, stir that in, and then you can go ahead and dish up. And you can sprinkle it with some parsley if you want to. And yeah, let me tell you, there was like maybe one serving left after we were done eating this, and TJ had it for like lunch the next day. But we're definitely going to be making this again. I want to thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit the like, share with somebody you love, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.